Hi, fans of high quality entertainment. We are here to review the albums we chose from last week. And Steve has a very special announcement about a record he bought.
That's right. Larry gets some bonus points because I forked over for Come On.
Yay!
There you go, Larry.
Thank you. So let's start. Glenn, you start first this time.
Oh, I'm
That's
so
right.
lucky.
First and last time.
Okay. Greetings, everyone. The two records I chose, one from Chris, and it was a band called Clear Light. 2 words, clear and light, if anybody's interested. And the second was from Marsha. The band's called The Hold Steady, and the album's called Boys and Girls in America. We'll start with Chris's. Clear Light. Man, this album's a poster child for 1966 pop psych. It's just like unbelievable. The sounds you're listening to, the guitar and the organ and the vocals, the lyrics, everything is just like it's really right in my wheelhouse in terms of that. None of the songs are long, jammy things. They're all like pop songs. Yeah, you guys are familiar with XTC's alter ego band, Dukes of Stratosphere?
No.
They put out an album. They posed as this band called Dukes of Stratosphere, and they made a psychedelic pop album, salute to this type of music. They're all 2-3 minute pop songs. It's a great record called 25 O'Clock. And this reminds me of that. It's you got the organ, the guitar. I think you mentioned last week, Steve, love and the Doors to a certain point, not necessarily vocally. I don't know. It's just that whole era is just wrapped up in this stuff. The second song, I think it's called Sand, but it's really good. They do a cover of a Tom Paxton song, and I'm a big Tom Paxton fan, Mr. Blue. Street, what did I put down? Another called Street. There's Street Signs or something. I can't read my own writing. Did it ever remind me of the Frank Zappa album Freak Out? The sound of the guitars and the rock, the straight rock songs on that album. Total imitation of that in a way. Really, really good album. I am giving it a 7 for its Glenderful.
I'll take it.
Okay, next, The Hold Steady, Boys and Girls in America. Opening track rocks. This is I think you mentioned it reminded you of Springsteen in a way, and somebody in the comments went, "No way, this sounds anything like Springsteen." It sounds freaking exactly like the first 2 Springsteen albums vocally. Like the sound of the guitars don't sound like Springsteen.
No, it's in the
His
lyrical
vocal
content.
inflections and his delivery are identical. It's like I'm sure he listened to those albums 1,000 times before they made this record. And so if you like the first 2 Springsteen albums, you should love this freaking record. I have a bit of a trouble after a while. My ears got tired listening to his vocals. It never changes. It's that I got tired with the vocals. That's my biggest problem with the album. That's why I put the vocals start to sound the same at a time. The first 4 or 5 songs all rock kind of the same way. They're all rock, and then all of a sudden it slows down. There's a song called First Night, which kind of takes it down a notch, and a bit of a ballad, and then it starts rocking again. But it's just it's a rocking album, and I wouldn't buy it unless if I saw it in a used store for a bin for a couple of bucks or something, I might pick it up. So it's not something I would buy. So I'm going to give it a 6 though, because I'm waiting for the gummies to kick in.
Well, I had said last week, a lot of people have some issues with his vocals. So it does not surprise me to hear you say that.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you both. They were both interesting listens.
And I also wanted to thank once again everybody that's been reviewing albums along with us, and I make sure there's a list and I pin the comment, Morris and Powell, and I think there's about at least eight of you doing it. So thank you.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
was one comment this past video that I liked what they had to say, but I will say it after everybody finishes their review because I don't want to spoil anything.
Chris.
All right. I had two great records this time. I liked them both. First one was Charles Bradley, Changes. Charles Bradley is a treasure. It's just wonderful, wonderful. I love the album. Some of the songs themselves were just okay, but his delivery made them good. You know, he's just a powerhouse. He's kind of like a cross between, I mean, the most obvious thing is Otis Redding, but he's kind of a cross between him and like Lee Dorsey, or like if you've ever heard Carl Hall's song, You Don't Know Nothing About Love, just that gritty from the heart and from the spleen soul singer. That's just what you're getting. Awesome. Very, very awesome. It sounds like it could have been recorded at Fame Studios or Stack Studios. It's really, really well done. That to me is pretty much a home run. A good soul singer is going to make you feel their joy, is going to make you feel their pain. Mission accomplished. He did that. I really, really liked it. I am going to give that record a strong 8 out of 10. I liked it very, very much. The second album that I had was Barnstorm by Joe Walsh. And in all honesty, I inadvertently picked two really heart-wrenching records this week. You know, both of them touched my heart. They both spoke to me. I like hearing him acoustic and mellow like that. I mean, you know, I'm used to the kind of fun rocker songs that he usually does. But not only did I like his guitar work, which I did, but I really liked the piano work on that record too. It just was just a real nice album. Songs were good. Production was good. I give that one a 7 out of 10. Two great records this week. I appreciate both suggestions.
Cool. Okay. Marsha.
All right. First, before I get into my reviews, I just want to show this. This is the DeWolf CD that Steve sent to me. I reviewed this on the last episode. So thank you, Steve.
Can I say something? Has
Yes.
Steve found a way around the rules? Like, this is the way to earn bonus points?
Bribery, you mean?
I'm not giving myself
You just
bonus
said
points
them.
for Marsha for
You
this
just
one.
send everybody one and get an extra 20 points a week.
That's it. Yeah, Glenn,
Plus you a couple of bucks, but it's good for the ego.
yeah, Glenn, your clear light is on the way.
Wait till you find out the shipping cost to Canada.
Yeah.
All right. I reviewed Bring the Family, John Hyatt, and Live from Budokan, Cheap Trick. Now, I did make mention last week that I have both of these albums and that I am familiar with it, but I had never listened to them to take notes. So the John Hyatt, you know, it's a nice record. It's pleasant, and that's not said in a passive aggressive way. Like, it's nice. It's nice. It is a nice record. You know, there's some heavy themes in there with respect to him getting his sobriety and stuff, but it still feels like a record I want to put on the record player when I get home from work and unwind to. You know, I don't much care for I Never Cared for Your Dad Did. I never liked that song much. Learning How to Love, though, is such an incredible closer. That song is just, you know, to me, that's where the heart of that album is. Not Have a Little Faith in Me. That's been overplayed, I think. It's played over so many scenes on TV where somebody's dying of cancer or getting chemotherapy or something like that. Maybe I'm just too cynical about that song now. But to me, that's where the heart is learning how to love you. And I mean, and honestly, I never need to hear a thing called Love Again. But I almost think that that's also the benchmark of a great album is when you don't care to hear some of the songs anymore because they've been so overplayed. Now, I realize Bonnie Raitt's version is more popular, but she doesn't stray that far off of his arrangement at all, you know. But again, this is a nice listen. It's so pleasant. It is an 8. It is a pleasure principle.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Another home run from Marsha.
it's been about a good 20 years since I've listened to it, except for that time with Glenn a couple of months back. And it was playing in the background. So it wasn't anything that I was actively listening to. I still have the same feelings about it that I did 20 years ago, which is also, I think, the sign of a good album, is that my opinions on it haven't changed. Cheap Tricks, live from Budokan. I never pass up an opportunity to listen to this album. I own this album. This thing was pouring out of car windows for a good 18 to 24 months when I was a kid growing up in the suburbs. If I'm in a bad mood, it is the record that I go to. Ain't That a Shame is probably my most favorite cover of any song ever. And it is also my favorite side 2 opener of all time. I just think that song highlights Benny Carlos so well, and Rick Nielsen. It's just, it's so good. I love this album, and I can't help but not just be in love with it every time I listen to it. So it may have just been a gimme, but it's a 10. It's a nobody does it better.
Wow. Oh my God. This is uncharted territory for Marsha.
Wow.
And you know what? I knew it was going to be a 10 when I picked it last week.
Outstanding.
And it's one of those albums that when I have had friends over, like that are my age, that is my go-to album. That is the one that always goes on the turntable, and everybody is happy to hear it. Except for Steve. I won't be playing it if Steve is ever invited over.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, Glenn. Write that down. Since you're going to be in Florida in 3 weeks.
I could listen to the album, but you would have to skip I Don't Want You to Want Me.
That's the most annoying song. One of the most annoying
songs, especially the live. The live version is the worst.
No, in fact, if I have one complaint about that album, it's that I don't want to hear any studio recorded Cheap Trick. I only want to hear them live.
Exactly. Almost all of them to me sound better live.
And it's just when I listen to the studio versions, it's just such a letdown.
Yeah, like Need Your Love is so much better. So much better live.
I think Steve and I are too old for Cheap Trick.
No, actually, I grew up seeing them in the bars here, I mean, even before their first album came out.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go next. Sorry, Steve.
That's fine.
First up, I chose Glenn's Dr. John. How do you say that? Gree.
Or Steve Marriott, he says Gris.
Yeah. I was kind of expecting, I love his song Right Place, Wrong Time, and that's not what this album is like at all. So the first time I listened to it, I did not like it at all. I hated it, Glenn. But I've played it at least six times, 7 times. And this final time I played it today, I liked it the most, but still not very much. I Walk on Gilded Splinters, I know from Humble Pie. I prefer their live version compared to Dr. John's.
His version's so spooky and
yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just not my thing, Glenn.
Yeah, that's all right.
I will give it.
I forgive you, Larry.
I'll give it. I was going to give it a 3 out of 10, but it's moved up to a 4 out of 10. Yeah, I did enjoy. I think the first half I enjoyed more than the second half overall. The other one was Steve's.
It's okay, Larry.
It's okay, Glenn. The other one was Steve's Ian Hunter, Fingers Crossed from 2016. It starts out with That's When Trouble Starts, kind of a very Rolling Stones-ish song. I love the tribute to David Bowie, Dandy. I didn't even realize it at first. The first time I listened to it, it was a tribute to him. I love how they really rock out on Bow Street Runners, Morpheus. I love, like, his lyrics are way above average. Like, he's a great songwriter. And just a line like, whatever you do, don't open your eyes. Like, that's just, you know, way above average lyrics. But I really enjoyed the album. I played it probably 8 times. You Can't Live in the Past is probably my favorite. I will get, and you know, great music and everything, and he's really still got his voice, at least back in 2016. Is he still sounding like that now, Steve?
Yeah, the newest album, he sounds the same.
Yeah, he sounds great. So overall, I would give it a 7.5. I enjoyed it.
All right. I'll take that. Because it's not his best album, but it's a very good album. So.
Yeah, like there's not one bad song. They're all really
good. I mean, and before this is over, I will be presenting his entire discography. So, okay. If Glenn doesn't beat me to it, because Glenn's become a big fan.
Yeah.
All right. Does that mean I'm up?
Yep.
Okay. I chose same one that Chris chose, Marsha's Charles Bradley. And I also chose from Larry the first extended play that was selected. Yeah, 42 songs. So, Larry, we're going to file this under taking one for the team. Okay? When presenting an album, this is very much like Marsha's 5 words, okay? Whereas if it has the word, what is it? Jazz, fusion?
Steve, just letting you know you can be replaced.
It's jazz, fusion, prog, Steely, or Dan, right?
Jazzy, fusion, proggy, Steely, and Dan, yes.
Okay. Here are my 3. Proto-punk, punk, post-punk, okay? So if any of the albums you present have that leaning, let it be known. And then, in fact, when I'm about to make my picks, just remind me that it has that, okay? So that I do not select it. Because when this, at first, before I even started listening to it, I pulled up their Wikipedia page and I see Feargal Sharkey's their lead singer. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I love his one album, the one with You Little Thief on it. Yeah. That's a very good album. So I thought, okay, I'm in for something special here. But the first 3 songs are punk. They are punk songs, and I hate punk. And then the next song, it's got more of a new wave feel to it. So I was okay with that. Then they kind of start alternating. And then the song Wednesday, that's a very pop song. That song I liked a lot. And the next song, Kiss in the Dark, I think it's called. That's kind of a slow pop song. I like that. To me, the best song, probably Got to Have You Back. It's got the Farfisa organ. You can hear him playing it. So I like that. That's really hearkening back to the 60s there. There's a very good ballad that I liked. And Chain of Love that I liked. Actually, that song, when that harmonica started, I'm like, this is Culture Club. Can you picture that song? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then they do an instrumental, which I don't even know is in there. And then, so then they just kind of keep alternating between punk, new wave, ballad. I wish they had done this thing in sequence. Apparently they didn't. It's not, the track listing is not the order they came out because it's just all over the place. So that being said, I looked at what I've ranked other albums. It's better than Paul McCartney's Chaos and Creation, that I can tell you. And it is not as good as Emmylou Harris or actually, it's not even as good as Ween. I gave Ween a 6, so I am giving the Undertones a 5. So,
Steve, we've got lots of time. Can you let us know what you thought of the other 72 songs on the album?
Yeah, I mean, 42 songs is a lot to get through. I mean, thankfully they're all like 2.5, 3 minute songs, most of them. But yeah, so rest of the panel, be forewarned.
Looks good on you, Larry. You got a 5. Nah, 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 nah.
Anything that sounds like punk, let me know. Okay, so up next is Marsha's Charles Bradley. So you had talked about changes, Marsha, and you had said if you don't tear up when that song is on. I made the point of, and I do it with all of these, I don't want to see any performance videos. I don't want that to cloud my judgment. I don't want an image of what the performer looks like or how they move on stage or whatever. So I never watched the performance. I could tell from the beginning, I caught like 30 seconds. Okay, I could tell it's going to be some heartfelt. He's pouring just his soul, entirety of his soul out in front of the camera. So I never saw it, but I did like the way he did it. And so then I looked up a little history on him to see what people thought of this album. Like Pitchfork, even Pitchfork and Spin. I'm not saying I give a lot of credence to professional critics, but I was surprised both of those they only gave it a 7. And I think my least favorite song was "Ain't It a Sin," but I did like a lot of the album. I like his voice. I can see where the guy was a James Brown imitator. That's how he started out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I am giving the album a 7.5. All right.
So that's it. Steve, you're fired. Thank you all for watching.
Oh, I wanted to add something. So one of the commenters, Big One, he had left a message indicating that he had listened to all of them, and he did say about this week, no stinkers. So I thought that was a pretty good review. He appreciated everything.
Like all 10 albums. That's hard to do because
I believe he listened to most of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, cool. So we'll be back to exchange, and actually in the next video we're going to have one mystery album each, along with one other album to present.
We're changing things up.
Yeah,
this is going to be exciting.
Remember to subscribe to everybody here, and thanks to everybody that reviews the albums along with us, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Thanks for watching.
Goodbye.